Welcome back to the Corporate Esports Association Dota 2 Spring 2020 tournament. We've got OK Google pick Techies versus Facebook Void, so I'm playing in this game. So it's going to be a little bit more of a replay review. This game was long enough ago that I don't really remember like the exact details of what happened. Obviously, I know the outcome of the game. It still haunts me to this day. But this will be more of like an introspective cast than play by play. I'm going to be talking a lot about like what kind of decisions we were trying to make, and I guess like what the team sentiment was. Although again, this was some time ago now, being played on patch 7.26, so the patch came out like the day before this game happened. So some gold loss. Basically we saw that like gold got nerfed by 10% across the board, but XP didn't. So like, okay, we're gonna pick like lots of early game heroes and try and like snowball our way to victory. That was like really the plan here. So right off the bat, I was like, I want Coddle +1. I was hoping for Ember Spirit, but it ends up getting banned in the second phase. But I was like, yeah, whatever. This is kind of expected. In terms of my bans, I wanted to ban LD. I think this LD, like, even though like it is like the gold nerf isn't good for farming heroes like LD kind of is. He actually comes online really early, right? Like if he gets level 7, you have to bring like 3 or 4 heroes to stop him, because this new ultimate is like pretty crazy. He gets so much HP. Lifestealer is another one we were like, I can't remember why I banned Lifestealer actually. That one was, why did I ban this? I think it was just a hero I didn't want to deal with as Coddle, right? Because like if I put the Will-O-Wisp down, Lifestealer can just hit it. But in hindsight, I think Lifestealer is probably actually not a very good hero right now. The other bans, Bounty Stonks is up because you get free gold, and they didn't nerf Janata in this patch. I don't think they nerfed Janata after this patch anymore, but like Alchemist was one of the things we were really worried about, because it was like, oh, Alchemist is like really strong now in this patch at least, because they didn't nerf Grievel's Greed yet. And the Phoenix was more about like, I didn't really want to deal with this hero because I think Phoenix is still really strong. This was like well, not. Fire Spirits got nerfed by like 20 damage per each, 5 damage per level, but it was like there were a bunch of other changes that nerfed Phoenix after this, if I remember correctly. So Phoenix was still a really strong hero in this patch. For their bans, Snapfire, we actually haven't played Snapfire in a while. I am not really sold on Snapfire anymore, to be honest. Tiny was, they probably just looked at my match history. I've been spamming Tiny a pretty hefty chunk actually. I've been having a lot of success on that hero. The Void Spirit is interesting, but Kasim plays it a lot, so that's probably why they banned it. And Arc Warden, we're never going to be able to play Arc Warden again. We showed it off too early, right? Alex, he showed off his level 25 Arc Warden. It's like, we're never going to be able to play it again. So that's pretty sad. And they're going to open with Dazzle, which is interesting because I don't see Dazzle very often anymore. But we also don't really have the option to go for Axe, right? Like, so I mean, I've said in previous casts that like Coddle is probably better as position 5, but we wanted like a really strong off lane, so we decided to open Coddle Bristleback, which kind of means we have to run Coddle 4, which can be a little bit rough. And then I open with Ogre, which I think is, so again, this is back to like the double position 5 thing that I've been talking about, which I'm not a huge fan of. and okay, we also do it in this game, so this is looking back on like 2 weeks ago, and like a lot of people are doing this, and I'm just like not big on it anymore. There was like a time and place where it was fine, but I think you really need like a playmaking 4 these days, and Coddle can like kind of do that with his ultimate, but if he doesn't have his ulti, he's not the most useful hero.
5 seconds remain.
So we were like, okay, we kind of want Ember Spirit mid when Alex played Ember Spirit again, so we banned Viper, but I think we like overplayed our hand a little bit because Ember Spirit ends up getting banned here. So this probably was a little bit of a mistake. Maybe we should have kept it in the pool for a bit longer. I mean, they probably would have banned Ember Spirit anyway, it seems, because like Ember Coddle was like really popular. I think this was around like the ESL LA major, like not really major, like the fake major, and Coddle Ember was like literally all the rage. So it's possible, like, I feel like I did overplay my hand on the Viper ban a little bit, but we probably would have had Emma banned anyway, so it's not the end of the world.
5 seconds remaining.
We don't have last pick either, so it's like we know like Ember might go into like a pretty rough matchup anyway. So they're gonna pick Faceless Void, and this is not a hero that does very well against Bristle back in lane. Like Bristle does a lot of sustain damage. I was actually feeling very confident about our opening in this draft.
Only 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Hurry, hurry.
So at this point, we're like, we should pick the other support right now, and we know we're probably up against Ogre. That seems like the most likely hero we're up against. So we want someone with like a little bit of beef, who's not like completely squishy. And the other thing is like, we probably want a hero who like does well with a bit of farm as well, because I'm not gonna buy too many items on a support Coddle, even though I'm position 4. It's like it's probably better to put it on someone else who's more playmaking. Like even if I could like assume the 5 role in the off lane just so I can lane with a Bristle, and that's like okay with me as well. But Lee really wanted to play Jakira, and I was kind of like sure. I've said in previous games I'm not. No, sorry. Wait, was it Jakira? No, it was Lich. Okay, we ended up playing Lich. I'm thinking of a different game. Never mind. Don't ignore that. I'm thinking of the weekend game. Alright. I do remember now. We picked Lich because, like, it's pretty good against Faceless Void, right? You can frost shield people in the chrono and it negates a lot of the damage. They're gonna pick Kunkka here. And we're like, okay, they have last pick, so it's probably a mid Kunkka. That was kind of what we were thinking, right? Like this Kunkka pick definitely like threw us for a loop. It's definitely flexible. That was the good part of it. So we picked Pugna for a variety of reasons. First of all, it dumps this Kunkka in the lane, because you just get decrept the whole time. You can't really do a whole lot. The other thing is, like I mentioned at the start of the video, we're like, okay, let's pick heroes who scale really well with levels, and Pugna is great at that. We wanted to hit this early game timing, and Pugna is our tower hit in this game. Bristol's not very good at that, and yeah, we were like kind of convinced this was going to be a mid Kunkka. But even if it was like an off-lane Kunkka, then like this. Not too many heroes, I think, that do very well against Pugna in the lane right now. Pugna's really strong, in my opinion. So they've been Lycan. I think they like kind of understand, like, we kind of want to go for a push strat. I'm trying to remember who we ended up picking for our carry, to be honest.
10 seconds. 5 seconds. Hurry, hurry.
What did we end up playing? I don't remember anymore. I think. Oh yeah, okay, I remember now. I think we were thinking about Razor at this point, right? Because it's like, okay, we want to hit this early timing. We want to make sure this Kunkka has a miserable lane. Like if he goes off lane, he's gonna have a rough time against Razor. If he goes mid, he's going to have a pretty rough time against Pugna. So we were going to go with Razor for this one. And then it's like, okay, so if Razor ends up going against Kunkka, who doesn't Pugna want to play up against? right? That was kind of what we were like talking about at this point. I remember what happened now. I don't remember who we ended up banning.
Dyer's turn to make all reading.
Yeah, okay. We ended up banning Mars because it was like, look, if Conker's mid, they're probably gonna go for Mars, because we've seen them play it before. And Mars could do okay against Razor, right? Like, if you get linked, you can like spear him away. It's obviously like a bit of a dance, but it's not unwinnable for Mars.
10 seconds to pick.
So I'm feeling pretty confident about our draft. It is very early game oriented, so we do have to like make moves happen early on. But we have like infinite mana sustain with the Coddle. We have a lot of damage reduction with the Lich and the Bristleback, and even like the Decrep to try and save us during like Chronospheres. We have like multiple like damage mitigation sources. So I was feeling pretty confident about our draft. The only problem we have is like lockdown is a big issue. We only have like Sinister Gaze and Coddle ulti, and like Decrep it's okay, right? But like it's not great. It's not a stun. So we're gonna have a bit of trouble like catching this Faceless Void, like killing him. But I think like the goal is to try and like largely ignore him. And Google, they're gonna pick a last pick Nyx, and we're like, what the fuck is this? This is what? This is super confusing. I was like, okay, is this an offlane ogre? That seems like a really weird like Nyx is. I think Nyx was like a really fantastic pick for them, but. And they ended up putting it in offlane, right? We're gonna see that like the T gamer is gonna pick Nyx, and we're like, what? The T gamer is their carry? This is a carry Nyx? What the fuck? we were super thrown off by this pick, but it ended up being very good for them because we don't have any lockdown. This Nyx is just going to run around and be annoying. And then, like, we have nothing to stop him. He just jump on top of the Pugna. Pugna has a shit ton of int. He's got the highest int game in the game. And these mana burns are gonna take off, like, half his HP. So... I like... Other than the Nyx, I was feeling, like, very confident up until this point. And the Nyx was just like, what is going on in this game? So, usually when you... enter these games, the first thing you tell your team is like, we need to scout, we need to make sure the lanes are correct. So you're gonna see some shenanigans going on here. We want to make sure the Bristleback goes up against the Faceless Void. That's the most important part of this lineup, is that we need to crush the Faceless Void in the lane so he doesn't start snowballing. So we'll just introduce the teams real quick. On the side of OK Google, pick Techies, we got the T Gamer on Nyx Assassin, Goofy on the Dazzle, Spawak on the Conker, PhysX on the Faceless Void, and Jersey Offshore on the Ogre Magi. On the side of Facebook Void, we got Messinator on the Razor, Alex on the Pugna, Doge on Lich, Kasim on the Bristleback, and myself on the Coddle. So we were kind of like clowning around a little bit, right? Like we're trying to figure out where is this Faceless Void going, and it's not clear. He's like sitting in his base right now. I like run as fast as I can to the other side of the map and drop a ward here so I can figure out what's going on. I'm pretty sure I didn't get spotted at least, which is good. And so I see the Conker and the Dazzle, and I'm like, okay, Razor, go. Sorry, not Razor. Like we need to swap lanes. Is like what I was trying to say. It's like we want the Razor up against Conker if possible. And also I clicked on his items, and he didn't have any pulled tango. So I was like, this Conker seems like a side lane hero. He's got a Quelling Blade. Okay, and now like PhysX comes out. We're trying to do a lane swap here, and then I see the Faceless Void through my observer ward, and we're like, shit, okay, hang on, Bristol, you gotta come back bot. So we end up losing 3 of the bounty runes because of this, but we end up getting most of the lanes we want. Sparwick ends up going mid, which is like kind of not what we expected, because we saw that he went, he has a Quelling Blade and no pull tangos. So I think Google like really outplayed us super hard here. At the end of the day, we actually have pretty good lanes still. We've got Razor up against a dual melee, and we have the matchup we want against the Faceless Void. So generally, I was like pretty happy with this. I think it was a bit questionable that Jake like TP to the lane, but I think it's fine, like, because you can see that like the TP happened, right? And you definitely want the Faceless Void up against the Razor, because you can just time walk away from that the link. But we ended up getting the lanes we wanted. Most of a full static link on the Nyx here, and Doge has finally made his way top. He actually walked all the way, so we don't do the lane swap. So that was a pretty crazy like first minute of the game. We're like trying to like scramble to figure out what's going on here, but things are kind of calmed down a bit. But we got most of the lanes that we wanted to.
Edged out.
The problem is, as a Coddle, I don't really have the ability to fight this Dazzle, especially because I went Chakra level first, so I'm really relying on Bristleback here to win us this lane. So I'm gonna have a pretty rough laning phase myself. It's very sacrificial, the way I set this up. Mid lane, yeah, I don't think this is the easiest matchup for Kunkka. It's definitely not like impossible, but I feel like you just get decrept the whole time, and it's kind of hard. Like, you're just gonna lose the range creep like this.
We have first blood.
And meanwhile, top, they get the kill on Jersey Offshore, first blood, and yeah, I mean this is a Razor versus dual melee, right? So we're feeling very good about the lanes here. Alright, Goofy getting jumped here, and I also skilled Illuminate at level 2, which is something I don't normally do, right? Like, I'm a big advocate of like Blinding Light, Chakra, and then Illuminate, but since we're in the off lane, I have the like opportunity to play more aggressively, and it's not a big deal if I shove the waves. I mean, we're gonna shove the waves with Bristle anyway with the Quill Spray spam, so like it really doesn't matter that like we're gonna push the lane even more with Illuminate. But I think if you're like a position 5 Coddle, then you really want Blinding Light. Now the problem is I can't fight this Dazzle head on, which is like a big deal for me. And Doge kills Jersey Offshore there. I have the wrong tab pulled up. The CS charts. Actually, Kunkka is doing, at least last hits wise, is doing okay, but Denies is definitely pugged up, pulling ahead a little bit. To be expected in this kind of lane. You just get decreps and then denied. But I think like the net worth is, I guess it's not that much more. Like they have the same, like a similar number of last hits, which usually just means that like the actual like creeps mattered more, right? Like Alex is getting more range creeps than the Kunkka is, and Goofy ends up dying bot to a dive, and Kasim's just gonna be able to walk out of there. Physics is actually doing okay in this lane as well. He's not getting crushed as kind of as hard as I thought he was going to be. He's still getting a decent amount of last hits. But now that Bristleback is level 3, his Quill Sprays are going to start hurting a lot more. The level 2 Quill Spray definitely is a huge damage increase for the Bristleback. Oh, and the bash. And 5-minute variance. Looks like it's going to be 4 for 0. That's what happened. And Kunkka getting it dived in mid. The life drain comes out. It's going to finish him off as well. see offlane Nyx that much, and to be honest, every time I've gone up against an offlane Nyx, I end up losing the game. So I'm actually a little bit surprised we don't see this hero in offlane more often. I guess like this is a very good game for an offlane Nyx, right? We don't have a whole lot of catch, which is a big problem, and so he's going to be able to run around freely in the team fights. Physics gonna pick up a Morbid Blast. This was really smart by him. It's just gonna let him stay in the lane, right? And even if he can't lane, he's just gonna hit the jungle. And he kind of has like if you get the bash, you have enough damage to like, you know, keep sustaining. Pugner's gonna run top with a haste. They need to be able to bait out this Carapace from the Nyx, otherwise it's not gonna work. But the Life Drain comes out now, the stun as well, but they will end up getting the kill on Nyx here. So, pretty much worth. Just gonna TP back to the lane. This is pretty worth for the Pugner here. Oh, whoa, what the hell happened there? He has an illusion rune as well. I guess he just like went for like a double rune.
Denied.
So the goo is available now for the Bristleback, and this is kind of when it becomes like really scary to lane against Bristle. Oh, top lane, another kill on the Ogre here. 109 damage stolen for the Razor. Oh, misses the Carapace. Plasma Field comes out, T-Gamer, he's in a little bit of trouble, gets the Carapace off, and Messi's getting really low as well. Actually, very close to dying there. Mid lane, Kunkka's like almost caught up in last hits, which is pretty impressive. Maybe this lane wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. How's the net worth looking? I mean, Pugner definitely is pulling ahead a little bit, where all three of our cores are ahead. But Kunkka, I guess like all he needs is like a double bracer. In this is the patch that braces with strength got nerfed, so it doesn't provide magic resist anymore. He's gonna make a rotation top now. See if he can find anyone with the boat. And Messinator, he might be in a bit of trouble. The Carapace comes out, and there's nothing that Razor can do to stop it. X marks with the boat as well. So Doge gonna be in a bit of trouble, gets caught out by the boat here, and looks like he's gonna die to another Tidebringer here. Meanwhile, Alex taking the mid tower, putting some pressure on with these Nether Blasts. Nyx TP'd bot now. Nyx, he's level 6, and this is another reason why the Nyx was really good, right? He has the break onto Bristleback, so a lot of the tankiness from Bristleback is gone now. It's a mechanic that you don't really think about too much about the Vendetta. But that was a really good rotation from the T-Gamer. Just gonna make his way back up top, it seems. I think he's like trying to fish for a Spike Carapace into stun. It's no points in Mana Burn yet, and I actually like this build a lot. Even though like Mana Burn is very good this game, the level 1 Mana Burn is really garbage, and you really want to just be pesky with this like max Carapace build. Every time I put 1 point into Mana Burn, I'm just like, it does nothing. Why did I do it? We grab the outpost here, and Physics will be able to grab it, but he actually it will end up dying before he's able to get it. So Alex with a sneaky invis room, gonna be able to pick up a kill there. So I'm level 6 on Colo now, and this is like a really big timing. We want to take the spot tower now with the Pugna. He hasn't taken mid yet though, so that was one thing where like maybe this didn't work out as well, because like you really want to take this mid like as early as possible. But Kunkka is pretty good at shoving out waves, right? You have this Tidebringer that you can just like push the wave out with, so Pugna's not going to be able to just like get free Nether Blast on the tower like you would normally expect a Pugna to be able to do. Messinator gonna go for a Yules first. I guess a little bit more like lockdown, and the move speed, mana regen, everything's quite nice about Yules on the Razor. My only like critique would be like, this might not be the best item for like a safe lane Razor. For like a mid Razor, I think this is like the perfect item, but for a safe lane Razor, you kind of want to like, oh, nice Carapace there. This actually is a really tough matchup for Razor, so you can't just Carapace the Nyx. Oh, you can't just link the Nyx because you're gonna be hitting him. Once he gets a level 3 Carapace, he's TP'd bot now with the Vendetta, and Dazzle gonna be the first death here. And Nyx just sneaks away there. The Sinister Gaze back in, but they're not gonna be able to get the kill on the Nyx, and instead, Kunkka gonna get blown up instead. The Chain Frost bouncing to the Nyx, but he's just gonna be able to walk out. Another sentry dropped. Just him going ham on this Ogre. Might get caught out by this Nyx here, but I think it's gonna follow up, so it should be okay. And Pugna's come bot now. He hasn't taken the mid tower yet, which is a bit of a problem for the strategy. But as long as he's shown up to take towers, we've got 4 heroes down here now, while Razor's farming at top. And Nyx doesn't have Vendetta for a while, so that's really a big part of like this hero. Maybe this is why we don't see offlane Nyx that much. It's definitely not easy to make these Vendetta plays when you group up this early. Like unlike a lot of other offlaners where you want to run into like 3 or 4 heroes, like Nyx doesn't really give you that option. And another sentry comes down. DD on the Faceless Void, but he got blinding lighted before he was able to get the chrono off, and instead he's gonna get blown up here instead. But the Shadow Grave comes out now. Physics still really low, in a lot of trouble, and he's gonna end up dying to this cool spray, it seems like. But Kazim actually dives to the tower here, taking too many tower shots. And if you're Facebook, it should be time to run, because Razor hasn't shown up yet. And Pugna, oh, he used the life drain before he got the Nether Blast off, so didn't take the full reflected damage. Doja's gonna die instead, and Pugna needs to get out of here. He'd be able to. The Fire Blast on cooldown, so Alex will be able to just barely sneak out of there. I think that could have been a really good opportunity for the Razor to show up, but instead he's putting some pressure on the top tower. Unfortunately, Razor is not the best tower pusher without Ags. We still managed to take that fight like fairly convincingly without the Razor, because like the Void used Chrono. Goofy's gonna end up dying here. It's gonna be a slow and painful death, it seems, but Will-O-Wisp comes out now. Lynchen's also going to show up soon, but it seems like most heroes are gonna be able to make it out of this. Sparwick getting pulled in again. Sinister Gaze as well, draining some of the mana. The Chain Frost comes out now. It's going to blow everyone up, and now Jersey Offshore and Goofy both gonna die here. A beautiful Chain Frost by Doge. Triple kill for him. And we get the top tower as well. We're about to take the mid tower with Pugna as well. So things looking in a very good position for our team. Yours picked up by the Razor now. I think that was a really big moment for us. But the Chronos Feat is coming up cooldown soonish. Isn't that worth looking? Void is very far behind now.
Structures are fortified.
I'm gonna caught out by this boat, which is actually really bad. Get blown up before I can cast anything. No blinding light available because he's gonna get run down as well. And now that the Nyx has shown up, he's not gonna be able to get out of here. The break gonna blow him up from the front as well. But we're gonna be able to get at least 3 of the runes.
I'll take that. Gold is a great color.
And the spell's thrown for this Pugna illusion. Like, Void has Chrono now. It's going for a Mask of Madness as his first item. Wait, what? Seems he's using a courier, right? Oh yeah, it's Treads. He actually doesn't have boots yet. He gets an Imp Claw. That's such a huge pickup for Void, honestly. Like, free crit, 24 damage is huge on this guy because you get it on the bash as well. That's probably the best item he could have gotten at tier 2, to be honest.
Radiant's top tower is being attacked.
Alright, Meste is going to pick up the last bounty rune there. It's still there from earlier. Fortunately, bounty runes don't really ferment anymore, which is a bit sad. Heat Optic pickup as well from the neutral creeps, so I think about tier 1 items now. We also have an Imp Claw, but we don't have anyone to really use the Imp Claw. Like Razor can use it okay. He's actually got an Ironwood branch, I didn't really agree with too much. And Physic's gonna run into the Razor. He gets linked, but we'll be able to time walk out of there, stealing a pretty hefty chunk of damage. The Razor, he's gonna be careful. A lot of TP's coming top, Nyx as well, so he's gonna try and sneak in Jake. He can't stay around for too long, and the Chrono's available. They dropped the Chrono for the Razor here, but Lich is coming in. They don't have the damage quite yet, but he's gonna get caught out here. The Frost Shield comes out. Not able to save the Razor yet. The Yours will buy some time, but he gets bashed on the way out. And Doge also dropped the Chain Frost. Not gonna get any kills from this, and that was rough. Nice rotation from Google though. We will end up taking the mid tower with the Pugna here. This is very late. This was not ideal for us. Like, we really needed this Pugna to take the tower early, but he wasn't able to. I mean, Kunkka played very well here, but you really, like, what you want to do with this Pugna is like take this mid tower as early as possible. I ended up feeding there as well. I think I just didn't expect them to still be around. So Google making some pretty big moves here. They don't have Chrono right now, so I'm telling my team, like, it's time to group up, boys. Like, they don't have Chrono. Kasim's got this Dragon Scale. I think it'd be pretty nice on Razor, to be honest. He needs that little bit of extra armor. Oh, 4 stuffs over. Oh man, that was a level 3 mana burn. Took off half of his health. That's pretty scary from Nyx. And this is a 4-second cooldown later as well. We're definitely feeling the heat a little bit at this point. Like, just seeing that, like, Nyx taking off half of Pugna's health is very scary. And Goofy gonna get chased here. There's still no Chrono available, so Goofy just gonna TP out of there. We don't have any stuns, and I missed the Will-O-Wisp in time. We're gonna try and chase down this Nyx, but there's no way we can kill him, really. T-Gamer, he actually will end up going down here. We have to blow an ulti for it, though. Now I'm gonna end up dying to the Kunkka here. We get the Ogre in the meantime as well. Can't get any more Sparwick. Gonna get taken down here. So, pretty big turnaround. It's just a Coddle for 1 for 3 heroes. Pretty worth. Physics has Chrono soon.
Radiant's bottom tower is being attacked.
Razor just gonna run at this Void. He's gonna try and force the time walk out of there, see if he can get the right direction. He does get it, but he already used the Yule, so it's not gonna be able to cancel the TP. And Doge gonna run up. Blinding Light will buy some time. Razor's shown up now and gets stunned. Physics is on the other side of the map, so he's not going to be able to TP in if there's a fight here. It seems like Doge wants some action. He's trying to look for this Nyx, but it's kind of scary. He's trying to de-ward this Sentry Ward. Alex gonna pick up this regen rune, and the pigs come out. They see the Pugna here, and he gets X'd. And he's in a little bit of trouble here. He's got the Force Staff to push himself out of the Chrono, the boat at least. But the Chrono's gonna show up now, and Faceless Void jumps in, and I got caught on the edge of the Chrono. I just barely couldn't Blinding Light him away. Now everyone else is showing up, but there's already 2 heroes down. Nyx did end up going down here. A Shallow Grave will buy some time on Jersey Offshore, and Messenger, he's getting really low as well. He gets bashed by Physics, and he's gonna go down as well. And now Physics, he's gonna clean up now, because he's not gonna be able to do it alone. And this was definitely, I think, the fight that really like turned it around for us. This if the Pugna was able to live there, maybe we could have taken that fight, but as it stood, we got picked off at the start. There was a big chrono from Physics, being able to catch the Pugna there. And then we kind of just like went in one by one, so that fight was rough. And really, the big problem with our lineup is we can't afford to lose these fights. Like, we're so all in on the early mid game that we need to like we need to snowball this game out of control. Pugna, he's looking for a Glimmer Cape. I think he's gonna change to a BKB as his item of choice. S and Y almost done on the Razor. It's a nice item for Razor. But against Nyx as well, like, dude, this Nyx pick was so good. You can't control this Eye of the Storm. It just does passive damage. He's just gonna get stunned, like, all the time by this Nyx. And Dazzle getting decrept. It's a big pick off if they can get him, because that's a big part of the team fight is being able to save people. And now that the Chrono's on cooldown for like 50 more seconds, we can take this bottom tower. Except this was a huge mistake for me. I was like, I'm gonna like clear this wave. I should have just left it. Instead, I ended up feeding to this Faceless Void here. He gets, yeah, I'm not able to do anything from this time dilation either. He gets a double bash, and I'm like, what? I was pretty dead anyway. But this is actually, I think I kind of like ruined the game for us, because I still had my ulti as well, and now Physics, he's got his ulti in 18 seconds. We have good vision here, so we don't really want to give it up, but we know this Faceless Void has his ulti soon as well. So we're kind of in a really rough position here. Nyx, he's going to be the first one caught out here, but there's no lockdown without the Will-O-Wisp. The Chain Frost comes out now. It's going to bounce pretty big on the supports. It kills the Dazzle straight away, but a 2-man Impale onto 2 heroes, and Faceless Void, he's shown up now, and I'm not there to save anyone because I fed my life away on Techies. And we're going to get wiped as well. Pugna. I've shown up now with my ulti, but we lost our carry. I don't know if we can do this anymore. And, you know, Will-O-Wisp comes out. Physics going to be able to jump out of there, but this Kunkka is so tanky as well. He's got the boat buff, and now Pugna, he's time dilated as well, so he's not going to be able to decrep himself. Force stops himself out of there for a little bit, and still needs to decrep himself, gets double bashed. The decrep gonna buy him some time to get the life drain as well, but we don't have any follow-up damage during the decrep, and Pugna's gonna get picked off now. And now I think Respect's probably gonna die as well. Diffusal Blade on the Faceless Void. He's also caught up big time. The Kunkka and Faceless Void have also taken over the net worth, so now Kasim's gonna die as well. I think that was like a game-losing death for me. I'm such an idiot. Like I think that definitely like lost us that fight. If I was there with the Will-O-Wisp, that would have been really clean. But instead, like, Google, they've brought it back to even, and this is really bad for us now. Like, we needed to win early, and we're not going to. So this game's looking very rough, and I'm gonna call it out here as well. Oh, Blinding Light cancelled the combo.
Dazzle.
Whoa, what? Never seen this before. Golden Crowbling.
Dire's bottom tower is being attacked.
Whose query is this?
Gold for my chest.
Doges. What a rich boy. This must be worth a lot in the market. Alright, T-Gamer, he's gonna do his scuttling things. He's got an Arcane Rune as well, which is really huge. He's just gonna scatter out our whole team. That's pretty big. But no follow-up at least. Halberd's done on the Bristleback, so he will be able to like deal with this Faceless Void a little bit during the fight. There's no BKB in sight yet for the Faceless Void. He's actually going for a Silver Edge, trying to get extra break onto the Bristleback here. Man, this Nyx's really just like annoying the shit out of us. And Viz picked up for the Bristleback, instantly pops it though. So Razor gonna go for a BKB. Pugner's also gonna go for a BKB now. I think. Oh, he actually finished the Glimmer Cape. Okay, I didn't notice that. This doesn't seem like the. I mean, it's an okay Glimmer Cape game, but you can still get like impaled by Nyx. In hindsight, maybe he should have just gone for the BKB.
Radiant's middle tower
Nyx
is being attacked.
turns on his ulti again. And there's like no way for us to defend this tower. I think it seems like we're gonna try for it, but Physics definitely has his ulti. We don't see him anymore either, which is kind of spooky. Gonna try and delay this tower push for as long as possible with the Lich. Just spam Frost Shield on it. And the Chrono onto the slow Pugner, and he's gonna die for sure. Another pickoff. And meanwhile, we're trying to take this fight, but without Pugner. Void, we know Void doesn't have Chrono, so this is like not the worst fight, but instead, I mean, this Nyx is just chasing me the whole time, so I'm not able to contribute anything. And the Torrent Storm as well from the Kunkka, huge plays, and now Physics jumped in with the time dilation. We're in a lot of trouble, and that was rough. I'm gonna buy back to try and save JK, but I ended up just, I don't think I was able to like TP anyway. I'm like, I think I'm really pretty tilted at this point. It feels bad. So this is the part of the game where we're like, this is pretty yikes. Like, we're really screwed. Google definitely outplayed us really hard on this one. Oh. We have like okay wave clear. We've got the Frost Shield as well, but once this like Chrono comes down, we don't really have any options anymore. And now Void has a BKB, so we can't even decrap him or halberd him anymore. Well, we can halberd him before it starts, but yeah, it's also a halberd on a melee hero, which isn't the most effective either. Oh, what? An Aetherlet? It does make Impale go longer. It's very weird how cast range works. That's an interesting pickup. I think we're gonna bait into a pretty bad fight here. The Nyx shows up now. He's just gonna run at the Pugner, and there's nothing the Pugner can really do to defend himself. He uses the Glimmer Cape first, and now the Torrent Storm comes out on top of the Will-O-Wisp, but instead the Carapace is going to stop the Pugner from, the Impale, sorry. And now Alex is in a ton of trouble. Carapace will stop the life drain, he's gonna die as well. Meanwhile, Faceless Void, he wasn't even there. We got wiped like 4v5. Yeah, so I think like we're gonna lose this game. It's gonna be a slow and painful death. I think we're just gonna play like one more fight and then GG out. This mid fight where Pugna got caught out was a pretty big deal. Like, I think maybe if I just like wasn't in the chrono, I was able to get the blinding light off, because I kind of knew it was going to happen. This is why I was like positioning myself here. But Physics got a pretty sweet chrono and caught me inside. Just I think if I was able to get the blinding light off, we could have saved the Pugna and then like maybe turn that fight around. And then yeah, when I died here, that was super bad as well. I think I'm probably going to take responsibility for the loss on this one. I don't know. I mean, overall, I feel like our strategy wasn't terrible. That maybe we could have had like a better mid, like. I don't know, it made the Kunkka in the 8th pick was very good. I think like that was like a pretty game-winning strategy from game-winning draft strategy from Google. And then this offlane Nyx like really fucked us over. Like, this is such a good Nyx game. We actually all have uncontrollable damage as well.
Double damage.
That is a very big Kunkka. I really like this Kunkka's build as well. Like, you know, they have more than enough damage. Like, the Faceless Void by himself is like plenty of damage for our team. So Kunkka's just gone like full utility. He's gone for a pipe to deal with the Chain Frost, and then the Axe for the extra lockdown, and just like relying on Physics to deal the damage. I think this is a really smart item build from Kunkka. And I mean, the Radiance is like, I feel like it's more of like a meme at this point. It's like they probably know that they're gonna win this game, right? Pugna does not scale into the late game.
Radiant's bottom tower is being attacked.
So I think we're gonna take one more fight here and then call GG. Like, we know for sure we're gonna lose this game at this point. But Chrono comes down onto Alex and myself, and yeah, he doesn't have buyback either. So I think we just gotta call GG now. GG. That was a rough game, for sure. I don't know, we talked about this after the game. It definitely, like, I think we were hoping to, like, snowball a little bit harder, at least, like, for, like, at least for another, maybe, like, 4 or 5 minutes. But we lost 2 back-to-back fights, and that was very difficult to deal with, and we couldn't really come back from it. So, hey, Google played a really good game. Gotta respect that.